We have attained so much wisdom throughout our existence, and we know that the wisdom we impart to all of you helps you to lead better lives. But we also know that wisdom is derived life experience. We want you to understand that you are meant to have all of the life experiences you are having. These experiences are not meant just for your spiritual evolution, but rather, you are meant to access the wisdom from those experiences and use that in order to help others who are going through something similar. Something else that experience gives you that nothing else can is your ability to feel compassion for another who is going through that same experience. Choice. Freedom of choice. You were born with freedom of choice, and to this day, you have freedom of choice. It has never been taken from you unless you have given it away. So hold on to that always, no matter what happens in your world, in your third dimensional realm. Know that you always have freedom of choice. You can turn down whatever controls are brought upon you. You can turn away any fear that comes upon you. Always look at the love that is incarnate within you and feel that love. Just as you may have felt adoring with experience, feel it any time that you want. If we become spiritual adventurers, we can give ourselves permission to open to greater conscious realization and find out what happens. We do this by imagining the quality of creative consciousness that gives us conscious awareness and life force. This opens our awareness to the vibratory patterns that we feel supported by. When we align with these energies, we resonate with our intuitive knowing and feeling, and we can recognize our inner guidance for what it is. It is one thing to teach another how to pull themselves out of a lower vibration. And it is quite another to feel compassion for that person without joining them in that lower vibration. Those of you who have experienced yourselves in a lower vibration, and we suspect that as all of you, know just how little you tend to know when you are in that state. You have access to lower vibrational thoughts, you take lower vibrational actions, and you tend to solidify lower vibrational beliefs. Therefore, as a helper, a healer, and a guide, as a light worker, there is no point in you joining someone in their lower vibrational state. You do not help them by doing so. Feeling compassion for someone and also sharing your wisdom is the best way to be of service there on earth. You are not meant to fix everyone else's problems. You are not meant to distract them from their negative emotions long enough so that they can have a smile on their face. You are meant to show others how you did it and explain to them the steps to pulling themselves out of their darkness, and you are meant to do that with compassion. Any time that you want, you can make the choice to see the earth, to see the third dimensional expression behind the veil. And you can make the choice to look beyond the veil and see Gaia in all of her pristine glory in the fifth and higher dimension. It is up to you. It is a choice that you can make. It is a choice that everyone can make. Sadly, some will make the choice to not move on with those of you that have already chosen to move on. Each and every one of you that I speak to now that resonates to my words has made the choice to move on, has made the choice to ascend with dear Gaia, with dear Mother Gaia. You have made that choice. So feel free that you have already made the choice and you fall back. Yes, it is always possible to do so. And you find yourselves doing that on a regular basis during your daily activity. But always, because of what you have learned, because of what you have remembered, you always come back. You always raise back up. Even if it is in your sleep state, you raise back up. This kind of resonance cannot happen in ego consciousness because the ego's fears disable expansion of awareness. If we choose to live within the limitations of the ego, We cannot align ourselves with our inner knowing, which is free of fear and doubt. We must make a change in perspective from engaging with negativity to aligning with life enhancement everywhere. If we can deprive negativity of our attention and engagement, and instead fill our awareness with joy and celebration, we can align ourselves with our deeper sense of being, which brings complete fulfillment. Since we all share the same essence of infinite consciousness, our potential awareness is unlimited. Our potential becomes our experience when we can realize its reality for us. It's that simple, but this can happen only when we can transcend ego consciousness. We don't have to convince ourselves of anything. This is not a mental process, it's an etheric process, and it's how we realize our reality, resulting in its creation in our experience. Our intuition is unlimited and ever-present, whether we are aware of it or not. Awareness of it requires our intentional alignment with its vibratory level, transcending ego consciousness and personally limiting beliefs. Now, why is the compassion necessary? You might wonder. It is your way of growing spiritually through the experience of helping another. If all you do is write books and create courses and tell people to take steps, you have not then expanded. You have not then been able to demonstrate an ability to hold yourself in a higher vibration while simultaneously helping someone who is currently operating in a lower vibrational one. Therefore, your ability to hold your vibration is of paramount importance to your journey. Now, many of you have often wondered why you had to choose such a challenging path in your lives. You wonder why you fail at this relationship or that business venture, and some of you assume that there is a faulty belief at play, that you have some programming that you have not released yet. And those things may be true, but if you look at the bigger picture of your spiritual growth, you also need to have experiences where you lose something or someone to then be able to have compassion for another who is going through that particular struggle in their lives. Your body rests, your mind rests, and you are able to freely then move on to the next day, and the next, and the next. And know that when you rise every morning, you make a conscious choice how you want that day to go. If you rise out of bed and you feel disconsolate and depressed, and you feel like the world is against you, then it is. But if you rise each morning feeling the grandeur of the day, feeling the sunlight on you, even if you are inside, you can still feel the sunlight. You can feel the expression of the light all around you and the love. And if you move on in that day, that way, then you have made the choice to freely live. To freely live in the moment. Always remember to do so. Be in the moment. The more and more you are in the moment, the more you are beyond the veil. The veil of the third dimensional expression which continues to try to hold you back. But you, because you have that freedom of choice, you have already made the decision to not be held back. So move on, my friends. Move on. Move on to the next day and the next, and freely live your lives without control. Remember, no one can control you unless you allow them to do so. You learned at that time that you did not need to hold on to those controls to be controlled. You learned to not comply, to not wear the masks, to not take the shot, to not stand the distance from your neighbor. You learned all of this, and you learned especially that they cannot control you. And do not let them control you as you continue to move forward. By intentionally living in gratitude for every experience, regardless of its energetic quality, we can open ourselves to greater awareness of a higher dimension of living. Whatever quality of radiance we emit determines the kind of experiences presented to us. When we recognize our intuitive guidance, everything becomes possible for us. Our subconscious takes loving directions from us and aligns with our true inner knowing, opening our awareness to the vastness of our inner being. When others have hardships, you must be able to dispense that wisdom from a place of also understanding where they are, or you will not be able to connect with them appropriately. You do not want to just sit in your ivory tower and dispense your wisdom practices and healing modalities. You want to be able to reach down and grab someone by the hand to pull them up. To show them that you care, that you love them, that you actually want to help them with their current set of circumstances. That also brings you into a greater state of unity consciousness, which is also a step towards knowing yourselves as Source. You could say that every purpose throughout the entire universe is for the being or the collective to know themselves as Source. Therefore, you want to remember that as you teach, as you help, as you heal, you are doing so for another aspect of that which is you. And as you hold that awareness, the other or others can feel it. They will feel seen, heard, understood, and known by you, and then they have a greater chance of being helped. As changes continue to develop, there will be more attempts to hold control to you, but more and more you have gained strength. Strength in the light that permeates now throughout your body, so let it be so as you move on further and further toward your ascension. But remember, you are in a process of ascension that will take you to the highest realms that you choose to move toward. I am Sananda, and I leave you now in peace and love and oneness. And that you continue to choose the new higher life that is right there in front of you.